What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Breaking news on the tariff war, or at least it doesn't surprise me at this point. Donald Trump announcing immediate retaliatory tariffs after Doug Ford opened his big fat mouth and decided to push back the good old Team Canada way. If you watched my video earlier this morning, as I talked about how Doug Ford threw Danielle Smith under the bus, essentially he came out talking about electricity surcharges that he was going to impose on certain parts of the United States. I want to talk about why that's a big deal, because while people are saying, this is going to be what Donald does, he's a bully, it's going to go back and forth, I don't think that's the case. Donald Trump is reacting to corrupt governments pushing their pandemic-style Team Canada approach onto his country. It's going to affect jobs in Canada and the United States. Our governments don't really seem to care about that, or at least most of them, aside from Danielle Smith, who actually wants diplomacy. Let's get straight into the article, and then we'll talk about why this is a big deal, why I think this is a big deal. Trump has announced this morning that he is doubling 25% tariffs against Canadian steel and aluminum. This is going to be massive. Pierre Poilievre talked about this the other day, saying, name a building that hasn't been built without steel, cars that aren't manufactured without steel. I'd like to see Doug Ford put a tariff on auto parts and see how that benefits him, while he talks about Danielle Smith needing to jump on the grenade to put more tariffs on oil and gas. This is the result. When you have two sides pushing back and forth and nobody from our end wanting to talk about diplomacy, this is going to be messy. This is going to get messy. And the Americans may be able to come up with a solution that actually screws Canada in the end, because people like Doug Ford can't shut their yap. Let's get into the article. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday, today, he has instructed his Commerce Secretary to put an additional 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, bringing the total tariff on those products to 50% starting Wednesday. The president said the move is in response to Ontario's 25% surcharge on electricity shipped to 1.5 million American homes and businesses across 3 states. I've instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add, maybe we should do this, people love the Donald Trump voice. I've instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50%. All steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world, Trump posted Tuesday on Truth Social. I know my Trump is a little off this morning. The sinuses are acting up, folks. Trump's promise marks the latest escalation in his on-again, off-again trade war against Canada, launched shortly after he took office in January and paused after intense market reaction to the turmoil injected into a long-cherished economic and military alliance between the two neighbors. The problem here is that while he pulled back, Doug Ford responded in kind to essentially ignite the flames of a full-blown tariff war at this point. Before it was the looming threat of fix your border or else, now we've pushed back, and this is where it all starts. This is rip Canada. Put a nail in the coffin. Says Trump has also threatened to substantially raise tariffs on cars coming into the U.S. from Canada April 2nd if Canada doesn't drop its retaliatory tariffs, and reiterated his insistence that Canada would greatly benefit from being annexed into the 51st state. This only makes the the only thing that makes sense is for Canada to become our cherished 51st state, Trump's post said. This would make all tariffs and everything else totally disappear. The U.S. stock market promptly fell during Trump's social media post. Prime Minister designate injected Mark Carney, who cheated to win the Liberal leadership race in a landslide on Sunday, said his government will maintain tariffs until Americans show us some respect and can join us in making credible and reliable commitments to free and fair trade. So again, no resolution. Let's just keep pushing back. We'll keep puffing out our chest, hoping that Donald backs off at some point. What you have to look at is the behavior of Donald Trump. He won't back down. He doesn't admit when he's wrong. He won't admit defeat. This isn't going to end well for either side. Just last week, Trump paused the 25% tariffs on Canadian goods from another month of getting pushback from American business leaders who say the trade war is bad for financial markets. Well, of course it is. His decision to press ahead with targeted tariffs on steel and aluminum poses a major concern for Canada, given the last time Trump imposed similar tariffs on those metals. There was a huge drop in Canadian exports, threatening jobs and businesses. According to Statistics Canada data, aluminum exports dropped by roughly half in 2019 as a result of Trump's trade action in his first term. After a brutal stock market sell-off on Monday sparked by tariff threats, Trump now faces pressure to show he has a legitimate plan to grow the economy instead of possibly pushing it into a recession. Trump has tried to assure the public that his tariffs could cause a bit of transition to the economy, with the taxes prodding more companies to begin the years-long process of relocating factories to the United States to avoid the tariffs. This is where we talked about Jordan Peterson's video saying that Trump only has to make Danielle Smith a better offer than the rest of Canada. Trump is already doing this with businesses. Move your offices down here. The tariffs are gone. You're going to be more profitable. You're going to pay less taxes. You're going to have more business. We're in trouble. He set off alarms in an interview broadcast on Sunday in which he didn't rule out a recession. I hate to predict things like that, Trump told Fox News. Here's the problem. Now, there is a reason that I pulled up the CBC's article. I love seeing how they stretch what is going on. Now, they try to benefit it as Canada's the good guy here. It's just Orange Man bad. This started out as a very simple problem. Fix your damn border. If Mark Carney is going to push back, and Doug Ford, closet liberal, is going to push back the way that they are, talking about a Team Canada approach, is this really the government we want controlling our country? Or is it time to get and rally behind someone who's capable of negotiating with Donald Trump, who isn't looking to just push back, but to actually sit at the table and talk? I know Pierre Poilievre has said that, no, we're not going to become a 51st state. We do have to put Canada first. I know that he's willing to go toe-to-toe, if necessary, with Donald Trump, but I also know at some degree he's willing to at least negotiate a fair and automated response, because Pierre has talked many times before Donald Trump came in about fixing up our borders, stopping crime, jail, not bail. These are all things Donald's interested in. Now, these tariffs are going to do nothing more than prop up the Liberals even further, as we keep hearing Orange Man bad, those in southern Ontario and Quebec who have Trump derangement syndrome. This is only going to bolster the Liberals' numbers while they continue to run the country into the ground. The biggest concern here, and the one that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is that this is an attack on energy. Doug Ford decided to go and attack the United States on energy that we give them. All the United States would have to do at this point is get together and decide to build a couple of power plants. Maybe put in some nuclear power, put in some form of power to be built within eastern U.S. to manage electricity for those states, and suddenly the energy that we provide the United States becomes obsolete. This would push Canada billions and billions of dollars in losses. Jobs are going to go out the window. We're already going to see it. Layoffs are coming. Things are about to get real nasty in this country. If you thought it was hard living under Justin Trudeau, as Team Canada wants to push back and fight rather than negotiate, everybody's life is about to get very difficult. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is the U.S. potentially able to screw over Canada in the future, in the long term, talking about alternative energy for themselves to provide themselves with energy? Do you agree with Doug Ford igniting this tariff war? Let me know what you think down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure as you hit that button, click your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our weekly live streaming show where I'm joined by my very beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we go over everything that's happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead, as well as back and forth within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say in those streams outside of making these videos. I look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.